AITA, for asking my friend to pay for part of something he asked me to buy after I stayed at his place for a week. I recently went on a trip to Europe. First, I stayed with family in one country. After that, I traveled to another country to visit a friend who is currently living there with his family as refugees. While I was still with my family, I went shopping and bought some drinks because they were cheaper in that country. While I was at the store, I called my friend and asked what type he preferred. We agreed on a specific kind, and he mentioned that we would settle the cost later. I do not remember his exact words, but I clearly remember that he did bring up the idea of sharing the expense. When I went to visit him, I stayed at his family's apartment for 5 days. During that time, we traveled around the area, spent time together, and everything was pleasant. There were no arguments. His family shared their food with me, and I also bought food and shared what I had. It felt balanced and comfortable. After I returned to the first country, I remembered that the cost of the drinks had not been discussed again. He never brought it up while I was staying with him, so I sent him a message asking if he could pay for half of the hard liquor only. I had also purchased some beer, but I had intended that as a gift from the beginning, so I did not ask him to pay for that. I must also mention that his financial situation is difficult right now because he does not have a job. Because of that, I told him he could pay whenever it was convenient and that I was not asking for anything urgently. His reply surprised me. He wrote a long message saying that I was being ungrateful. He said that he had given me a place to sleep, a place to shower, meals, and time and effort. He said he was shocked that I would ask him to repay anything, and he felt that my request showed that I did not value his hospitality. He said that asking for reimbursement was something that could end our friendship. Then he listed all the things he believed he had spent on me, including the cost of housing, food, and activities, as a way to compare it with what I had asked. I responded by telling him that I was not trying to be ungrateful. I reminded him that he had mentioned sharing the cost when I was at the store. I apologized sincerely if my request hurt him. He then told me that I was being insensitive and that I should have understood the situation better. At that point, I told him we could simply forget the reimbursement entirely, because our friendship means more to me than the cost of a bottle. I also explained that in my past experiences with friends, we usually shared costs when we agreed to buy something together, and that is why I thought asking was normal. He dismissed this explanation and said that this was not about money at all. He said that I was only trying to justify what he viewed as ungrateful behavior. By the end of the conversation, he seemed a little calmer, but still upset and hurt. So now I am unsure. I did not mean to offend him, and I did not want to seem ungrateful. He truly did welcome me into his home, and I appreciate that. But he also agreed earlier that we would handle the cost together. Because of all of this, I am wondering, AITA for asking him to pay his part of something we agreed on, even though he was hosting me during my stay.